In the 4A state playoffs, it was Mater Dei Catholic hosting Taylorville in Breeze in a quarterfinal matchup between the Tornadoes and the Knights. After both teams were stopped on their first drive, it would be the Knights who knocked down the door first against a tough Taylorville defense. Brendan Timmerman finds the edge and gets a huge block at the 5 for the first 6 points of the game with 6:55 to go in the first quarter. Taylorville's offense wouldn't get much going in the opening frame, and the Knights were finding ways to knife through the Tornado defense as Colin Schutz hits Timmerman in the slot and he breaks off some yards after the catch to get into the red zone. The Knights were knocking on the door again, and they go back to the air as Schutz hits Jordan Campworth, the 6'5" tight end, for the score to go up 14-0 on Taylorville with 2:53 to play in the first quarter. The Taylorville faithful who made the long haul to Breeze would finally have something to cheer about less than a minute later, however, as Blake Heimsness would pull off a good fake, almost giving it to Tyler Gist, but he pulls it and finds Sean Hammers after Mater Dei bit on the fake, and Hammers puts on the burners and hops his way into the end zone to get Taylorville on the board, cutting the Mater Dei lead to 14-7 with 2:10 to go in the first quarter. Still with ticks on the clock, the Knights would respond. They would drive down, and Schutz would find a new target this time. It was Lucas Theising who catches the touchdown with 30 seconds on the board, and Mater Dei led Taylorville 21-7 as we flipped fields and went to the second quarter. Taylorville's offense would be stumped to start the frame, and the Knights were able to capitalize as Brady Rakers breaks through the Tornado defense to put them up by 3 scores. Taylorville would get a score before the break to make it Mater Dei 28, Tornadoes 14 at recess, but it didn't take long for the Knights to add to that total in the third. Quarterback Colin Schutz would throw it out to their big tight end again, Jordan Campworth, and he uses his size to shed a tackler and then takes off using those long legs to win the race to the end zone, and Mater Dei would go up 35-14 just a minute into the third. Both defenses would hold for the remainder of the quarter, and with Taylorville clinging to life, their undefeated season in jeopardy, but 8 seconds into the fourth, things would get worse as Schutz gets it away just before Tucker May can get to him, and he hits Josh Harbor, who gets some great blocks, and he scores to put Mater Dei up 42-14. The Tornadoes would try to claw back in it in the fourth as Heimsness would drop back and find Jimmy Berry in the corner of the end zone to make it 42-20 with 6:18 to go, but that lead would be too much to overcome, and Taylorville's historic season would come to an end with a 42-20 loss to Mater Dei in the 4A quarterfinals.
I know when we watch film and break it down and see some of the things that we should have executed a little bit better, it'll sink in a little bit. But, as we see the seniors with tears in their eyes and the sophomores hugging them and, thanking them for everything they've given, that's kind of what it's all about. We go back to last year's group, 22 seniors. We only brought back one guy that started on offense and 3 or 4 that started on defense. And to basically start over from scratch on the offensive side and plug in new faces on defense, that's going to be the biggest thing for us that I take pride in is the fact that our kids bought into the system that we're trying to do, and the coaches plugged in, and we didn't panic. We just said these are the guys we're going with, and the results kind of speak for themselves. So that's pretty proud of kind of emblematic of our staff and our kids and how we handle things.
My biggest memories are our comeback win against Mount Zion week 1 of the playoffs, definitely. Just everyone facing adversity. That game, we were down 14-3 at halftime, and then just everyone came together as one. We ended up, I think it was maybe like 36-14, something like that. It was a great win.
What are your thoughts on this terrific season?
I love all these guys, and coming into the season, no one expected us to be this good, and then we just worked hard all summer and all leading up this whole season, and we've had a fantastic season, and I'd do anything for any of these guys, and they do the same for me.